I'm not going to suggest that that was the best performance in the world. Had that have been a draw or a loss, in fact, I probably would have found myself complaining about the lethargy of the team, how it was quite hard to kick-start ourselves after the international break, which is something we're quite good at normally, about how we've missed Lanzini, that Souček was struggling to find his normal positions. I'm not surprised, by the way, he's played so much football that Rice wasn't quite able to get into the game. I probably would have said that sort of thing, and that is all true, but there was a lot of good stuff in that game, and the most important thing is that we won, and we won, I think, after the international break. We're quite good. It's not just international breaks, it's actually starting after any sort of hiatus in the league schedule at all. We're quite good at it, I've got to say. I thought we traditionally been quite poor at it, actually. Even times under Moyes, we've not been that great. But this, of late, I don't know, last year and a half, since the lockdown, really, since the first, project restart, we're pretty good at it. We just had to win that game today. And there were points when Everton were in the game. I thought it was completely end-to-end. When it went 1-1, that was completely end-to-end. A little bit too much, really. The big news in terms of the team news was when I first saw the lineup, and it was only 5 minutes before kickoff. Fredericks was in, so no Johnson for whatever reason. I don't know, probably you do already by now. The big news was Bowen was in, and that was really, really good. I've got to say, at the end, I saw him limping, so he got taken off, substituted for Mark Noble. 65 minutes, something like that. Come the end of the game, when everyone's sort of applauding the crowd and congratulating each other after the win, Bowen was limping, he was hobbling around, not good at all, bit worried about that. That being said, I don't think he was ready, I don't think he was fit, but he still managed to win the free kick for Cresswell's goal and then score his own goal, so I'm not going to read too much into the hobbling. I think you probably won't see a fully fit Jarrod Bowen until probably next season, but he's going to play through the pain barrier, and he's clearly good enough to play at the moment, and it was really good to have him back. Lanzini, as I mentioned, I really thought we missed him. Sound a bit negative maybe at the moment, but it's not. We've won the game. But I did think we missed Lanzini in there, certainly. Lanzini obviously been involved in a car crash. Not his fault, as I understand it. I think his chauffeur was driving, but I think his chauffeur hopefully is all right, but probably been been to the Michael Antonio School of Motoring by the looks of things anyway. But he was a bit bumped and bruised. I think he apparently jumped out of a crash. Lanzini said, "Really, that's okay, I'm fine," but it was obviously adrenaline there. I think after a night's sleep, he woke up, pretty bruised and pretty battered, as you probably would after flipping your car. But I thought we missed him. I thought we lacked a little bit of cohesion. I don't think we were particularly good in midfield today, but where we were very good was transitioning from defence into attack. And I thought, I thought Fornell started very brightly, actually, and found himself in a good position, squandered a chance, just took too long. He was to the left of the goal. I thought he either should have shot first time or should have squared it into the box first time. I thought Benrahma was looking really lively, and Antonio, who was, it's hard to say bang in form because he didn't score, but was a menace, an absolute menace all day today. He really fancied himself. You could just tell he constantly wanted to go one-on-one against the central defenders. I say central defenders, I will go with central defender, because by the end of it, Keane had got himself sent off through pure frustration, I think, actually. I felt it was 2 yellow cards, by the way, and I felt the second one that Keane felt that Everton should have had a free kick for something that just happened just before. He was frustrated, so he sort of stuck his leg out and should have known better, really. But that was, but I think Antonio played a really large part in that. I've got some notes. Let me deal with my notes. What a free kick from Cresswell. Just before I get to that, if I've missed anything. Oh, yeah, sorry, this shouldn't go without saying. Ryan Fredericks. Now, Ryan Fredericks gets, put it this way, I give Ryan Fredericks a fair bit of criticism. And I just think his first touch is very poor, and his passing, his crossing, that sort of thing. And that was still in evidence today, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Actually, his footballing technique ain't great, but actually I thought defensively today he was excellent. The one bit of defending where he wasn't excellent was actually due to his first touch and his passing. We just laid the ball into Richarlison's path, basically. Aside from that, recovery, tackles, a really good tackle on Richarlison in the first half. He was going to do at least 3 of them on the same player. I thought he did really well. I thought he defended magnificently today. It has to be said. Bowen got fouled for the free kick. It was Benrahma and Cresswell lining up this free kick. My word, Cresswell hits it perfectly. It's an absolute beauty. This will get replayed, well, lots of times by West Ham fans, really. There were people in the crowd, including Tony, who sent me videos of it as well. Thank you, which was very, very much appreciated. I'm not going to put them on here just to, I don't want don't want to get in trouble with copyright infringements or anything like that. But, wow, what a goal. Struck it with his left foot, of course. What else would Cresswell do? Curled it as Pickford's looking. Pickford's left, to the left of Pickford, put it that way. As Pickford standing. What am I talking? Why am I getting all myself in a muddle? He stuck it in the top corner, curled it in there. You know the old cliche, couldn't have placed it better. Beautiful, beautiful goal. There was a lovely ball from Benrahma to Antonio. Really good. He rounded the goalkeeper, but you could feel he was so desperate to score that he sort of shot into the side netting. He'd done the hard work rounding the keeper. He'd taken himself into too tight an angle. He should have played it back into the middle. Didn't. There you go. Second half, Holgate scored. He'd been playing in midfield. A really ridiculous attempt at a punch by Fabianski. And he basically either should have left it to his central defenders or caught it. And I thought that at the time. Well, actually, do you know what? He showed there was a ball from a similar elevation in about the 88th minute, which Fabianski caught absolutely fine. Anyway, it sort of flapped out with this pathetic punch. To Holgate, I thought initially that it was just caught it on a half volley, Holgate, beautifully. But actually it got deflected off of Fornals. But we didn't have to wait long until we scored. Now, this was really interesting because Iwobi did a terrible first touch, and it was Fornals that pounced on it. And Antonio had held the line really well, so he wasn't offside. But at this point, Everton were really pushing forward for the winner. They had a very, very high line, too high a line than you should really have against West Ham, truth be known. Antonio was onside, and Fornals just basically read. I just anticipated that Iwobi was going to make a mistake, played the ball in. Antonio was charging down on goal, made the shot. Pickford sort of stuck his leg out and made the save basically. But the ball sort of deflected into Bowen's path, who was on the right hand side of the goal, had followed it in. Bowen finished with his weak foot, excellent. 2-1 at that point, and then it wasn't long after that. Another good tackle by Fredericks. At this point, the game was end to end as well, really end to end. And Everton sort of resorted. This is before Keane got his second yellow. They were just lumping balls into the box. Thought, well, this is quite comfortable. This is a weird thing to do because in the main, Dawson was clearing them out. The ones Dawson didn't clear out, Zuma was clearing out, and then Souček was getting back and helping out as well. So Keane got sent off for the reasons that I suggested, explained earlier. At that point, and I think it was about 65 minutes. I should have written it down really. It was then time for Bowen to come off. Noble came on just to really see the game out. And there was still, funny enough, it's not like we stopped attacking then, by the way. It was after that point, Antonio just seemed to really want to isolate and go at Holgate, I think, on a couple of occasions, who'd moved back into defence by this point because they were a man down in midfield. And by the time he'd done that, Antonio was really running at him. Noble sort of knitted things up. I wasn't really totally sure what position everybody was playing. I thought that was going to massively liberate Souček, but it didn't really do so. It didn't matter. At that point, we decided to close the game out. It was another substitution, which was Ben Rama for Yarmolenko. Ben Rama played well today, by the way, but I can't remember what it... Late on, just before the substitution, there was a 50-50 pulled out of it. He bottled it, and I knew then. I thought Moyes is going to have him off, and he really did straight away. But actually, I thought Ben Rama played really well today. Number of really good passes. The normal twisty-turny stuff that you see. I thought they all played well, actually. I thought Ben Rama played well, Bowen and Antonio, that sort of front three, were good. I think it's just really sort of midfield. Just wasn't... Rice, whilst I say West Ham tend to do well after international break, Rice doesn't. Rice always does take a game, so I'm glad we got that out of the way. I don't think Souček was particularly good. Defended well, headed well. Rice wasn't appalling, by the way, far from it. Rice was all right, he really was, but it wasn't quite full Declan Rice standard, put it that way. Cresswell didn't play badly at all. Did make a little mistake, but wasn't particularly costly. Fredericks, I've mentioned, was decent. And then overall, it was okay. It was okay. But that's a poor Everton team, it has to be said. And they were down to the bare bones. They really were. And I mentioned in the preview, they got some discipline problems. We saw it again today, but that's why Holgate had to play in central midfield, because Alan, as we like to call him, was missing because he got a red card in the previous game. And I didn't know, the commentator said that's 3 red cards in a row for Everton. So not particularly good for them. I didn't even realise they had Burnley up next. So that's going to be an interesting one. But I didn't feel... Look, either Calvert-Lewin, I almost said Calvin Phillips, told you. Calvert-Lewin is just not fit. I know he's come back from injury. Or he was just completely dominated by Dawson and Zuma. That didn't really cause him any bother at all. I got a little bit niggly. If I'm honest, I thought at the end, I thought Cresswell might have got a red card, actually. Sort of, did he technically kick Richarlison when he's on the ground? No, technically probably missed his face. And Richarlison was running around holding his face. But he shouldn't have put himself in that position. Technically, he kicked the ball, or he tried to kick the ball, but basically, Richarlison's on the floor and Cresswell's foot's about there. You're asking for trouble, really, because Richarlison tried to make it look like he'd been kicked in the face. So I thought he was going to get sent off. I thought they might have been fooled by that. Anyway, he got a yellow card for it, which is just as well, really, because we're going to need all these players for the run-in. That's for sure. Anyway, there we go. A valuable 3 points there, particularly given that Wolves won, so that made it important. And also, obviously, Manchester United dropped points. Can we overhaul Man United? I don't know. They don't look like a happy bunch. Whereas we do, I think, as a club, we look like a happy bunch at the moment. I just thought there was a little bit of fatigue from us, really. By the time I upload this, maybe you'll already know the result of the Tottenham game. So I don't really know. I can't say because it's just starting now. So we'll have to wait and see. But it keeps us honest. I would have liked another substitution, if I'm honest with you. I'm a bit worried about Souček before the European games. He's played a lot of football. Wrap him in cotton wool, but. Antonio looking as sharp and as devastating as he did, I think this really bodes well for us. Bowen back as well. Hopefully Lanzini's recovered, because I did think we missed him. Quite a lot, actually. But we missed him quite a lot. With Bowen back, with Antonio in that form, Rice and Souček won't play that badly against Lyon. And with Lanzini back as well, defence playing as well as it clearly is. I think there's an awful lot to be buoyed about. Hopefully nobody gets injured in training or crashes their car or anything like that. We could just look forward to Thursday.